All right, Keith Cougars, this is Mrs. Cartwright, and I am going to be helping you with the very last question on this practice. Mrs. Barlow has a video helping you with the very first problem, or maybe it's the middle problem. You'll have to watch her video carefully to see which of those she records. But for my question today, you're going to want to go clear to the bottom row, last question. We're looking at this total 2,158 divided by 65. This could be a story where we need to put 65 items in each group, or it could be that we are making 65 equal groups and we wonder how many items should go in each of the groups. You'll remember to do division, we use the silly question, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? To remember the steps of our long division algorithm. We know that first we divide, then multiply. We subtract, we check, is it small enough? We bring down, and then when we need to, we repeat until we've used all the digits in the total. I notice here that we're dividing by 65. I do not know my count by 65, so I did not memorize those when I was your age, nor have I memorized them as an adult. So I think that we are going to need to make a top and bottom chart here for some count by 65s. One group of 65 will be worth 65. Two groups would be double 65. If I double 60, it's 120, and 5 and 5 is another 10. That would be 130. For three groups of 65, I could add 130 with another group of 65, which would give me 195. If I need to know more than three groups, I'm going to need to just keep using repeated addition. 195 plus another 65. Looks like about 260. Another group added on. Looks like it'd be worth 325. So I'm just using addition to total up those groups of 65 to get started. I'm already kind of tired of this add 65 routine. So I think we should go ahead and get started trying to do the problem. If partway through we realize we need to know more groups of 65, we can always add to the table later. We've got a great start, so let's see what happens. I'm thinking about dividing, making equal groups of 65. I know that I cannot make a group of 65 out of 2 or out of 21. I like to put little X's to hold those place values to show I thought about them, but I couldn't make groups there. So when I look at this 2 and 1 and 5, I'm going to think of it as 215. And I'm going to look carefully at my table. How close can I get to that 215 without going over? That's right, it looks like we could do three groups of 65. Those three groups that we think we can separate represent our dividing step. We write those groups on top of the house. Then we multiply. How much was three groups of 65? According to my table, we thought it was 195. So there's our multiply step. So this top and bottom table helps me with my division and my multiplication steps. After that, we subtract to see what's left after forming these groups. I'm going to borrow and do some real subtraction there, not fake math. We check, is 20 smaller than 65? Yes, so it's small enough leftovers. We bring down the next digit, an 8. And we look to see how many groups of 65 we can get out of 208. How close can we get to 208? Looks like we can do another three groups. That's the divide step. 3 times 65 is 195. That's the multiply step. When we subtract, 8 minus 5 is 3. 20 minus 19 is 1. Is 13 small enough? Yes. Unfortunately, we have some remainders here. In 4th grade, we would have said R13. At this point, if I had answer choices on a quiz or a test, I would hope that only one choice was 33 point something. I would pick that. But in case you have to type in the exact answer to this question, we need to know how to finish this up, how to complete the problem. How to complete it is going to be to go ahead and add a decimal point behind the 8, pop it straight up into the answer behind our whole number 33, and then put a 0 here that we could bring down in order to divide again. Now when I ask myself one more time, how many groups of 65 are in 130? I see on my table we can make exactly 2 groups. That 2 groups of 65 is 130, and that gives us no leftovers, no remainders. So the exact answer here is 33.2. Now, if you want to get an extra question counted right instead of wrong on this assignment, besides this answer, 33.2, you're going to need to draw a little heart under this divisor 65. That means that you've listened and watched all the way to the end of the video and followed directions. So a heart underneath 65 is going to get you 1 check for the answer and 1 check for verifying that you watched the whole video. I hope your friends do the same. I appreciate your time. Remember on all the other questions to use does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers, to make top and bottom charts ahead of time for these 2-digit divisors. And remember, if you run out of digits, you can always add a decimal point and a 0 to keep going. You'll do great.